All right, guys, back at it with another video today, another update. This one's not going to be too much of anything exciting, but I want to show you guys a couple of things. Try to just jump right in on what happened to me the other day, making some runs. The shitty part is, you make 112 mile an hour pass, do a backflip, you don't damage the car at all. You go to run the other day as I did, and my transmitter batteries are a little bit low. I lose signal as I'm doing a turn to start heading my direction to do a speed run, and I smack into a curb. I wouldn't even say smack, I would say tap into a curb, because I was doing about 3 miles an hour. And my whole front clip falls off. So needless to say, I was a little disappointed in Arrma with that. Now I've kind of patched things, back together here for the most part, so everything is seemingly back to normal, but caused way more damage on my car bumping into a curb at 4 miles an hour than I did a 112 mile an hour backflip. So I guess I should be thankful, but the positive thing is that day I still ran a 100 mile an hour run, unbeknownst to me, with this canard missing, the front splitter gone, and this front piece just kind of flapping in the wind because I had no splitter, no canard, and I still managed to put down a 100 mile an hour pass down not a very big street. So again, easily got up to 100 miles an hour. I probably wasn't even 3/4 into the throttle, even that. So of course, you find a street, there's no cars on the street, and sure enough, when you decide you're going to do a run, it turns into a traffic jam on that street out of nowhere. So needless to say, it was kind of an overall shitty day. I made a video, but I didn't post it. I mean, like I said, it was a shitty day, not very good runs. So I didn't even waste my time posting the video, to be honest with you. I kind of wanted to let you know what I was disappointed about. As far as, I think one of my other buddies, Birmingham RC, I think his name is, he made a video when he first got his car doing like a quality check, and he realized how many screws were loose and, things like that. Now, I kind of did a once over, when I got the car, and I really didn't make much of it until I saw his video, and I'm like, man, he's got a point. I think they slapped these things together so quick, just in a rush to get them out, that I don't think there was major quality control involved. So I think a lot of that had to do or contribute to basically me bumping into a curb and this whole clip falling off. So the one thing I've always noticed when I got this car, I never made a big deal out of it. I don't know if you guys can see this here, but these screws here, when I was kind of going through making sure everything else was tight, and I've had these issues with some other screws too. I think one of them is on the servo, where the servo mounts. Those would just screw around, and and those would never really get snug or tight. These here, I would just spin them and they wouldn't tighten. They would just spin. All of these screws here. So needless to say, when I hit the curb, this whole thing just basically ripped out, along with this this screw here that holds the canard in. That basically just popped off. Now, good for me, when like I said, I got done making like 3 more passes, and again, here I'm hitting 70 miles an hour. I mean, I was just kind of doing some shakedown runs down the street. I hit like between 70 and 80 on one run, and then my last run, I hit like 99 point something miles an hour without any of this stuff, all of this stuff being gone. So if anything else, I guess, you'd say on one hand, it's kind of shitty quality control by Arrma, but still, the way this thing is built, I was still able to manage a 100 mile an hour run with all this shit missing. So that was kind of amazing. So, I'm not knocking it. Trust me, I love this car. I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this thing already. And it's a beast. I love this car. So not knocking it, but quality control could have been a little bit stronger. The one thing that I do want to jump into is kind of a little update from my last video that I wanted to mention about these. These things are amazing. So I know I let you guys, I told you guys that once I did my runs, I would check back with you guys. and let you know. These things were awesome. I was not disappointed. Anybody who decides to get the AMAS anti-spark connectors, the 7mm bullets, you're not going to be disappointed. The one caveat that I will say though, and I know I didn't mention this in my last video, so I don't want anybody to go and get these. And if you're running these and you're already familiar with how to use them, great. But like I said, if you're thinking about a connector or you're on the fence about what kind of connector you wanted to use, I did want to give you one caveat to these type of connectors. So again, I'm running a pretty high-powered application. So the issue I was having was sparks. And since I've used these, I haven't had an issue except for the mistake that I made the other day, which is why I wanted to make this update video. Again, it was a shitty overall day, and after I made a couple of passes, I let things cool down a little bit, unhooked the battery, and then once I hooked everything back up, I totally forgot to hook this up last. So if you guys see this particular piece, this has like a resistor or something built in. So this black here that you see is the brake. So when you connect this power, that resistor absorbs the spark, and thus you have no spark. So this has to go in last. So after you've made all of your other connections, you connect this. And then this is what's gonna dissolve that spark, where you have no spark, no pop, anything. Now again, because I was having kind of a rough day, I was just hooking everything up and I didn't even think of this. So I hooked this up first, okay? I hooked this up first, and then I was plugging in my other connections. And when I got to my last connection to plug in the power, which I'll show you here, if you plug this in last, this has no resistor, no way to absorb the spark, nothing. So if you look at this other one here, okay, basically you connect it, you get some power here, but you don't get full-on power until you pass the resistor. That's what absorbs the spark. If you connect this last, you see this has no resistor, which means if this is already plugged up, you're already running full power, so that once you plug this in, you're going to get that nasty pop and spark that you're trying to avoid by running these connectors in the first place. So that was just the update. Nothing wrong. The connectors are amazing. You won't be disappointed if you go with these connectors, but I just felt that it was important that I should mention that, because somebody who's not familiar with these and they order them and get them connected and don't realize that you have to connect the one with the resistor last so that you don't get the spark, would be disappointed, and they'll probably talk shit and say these connectors suck, they still spark. So that was my mistake that I made. I should have known better, because I already knew that, but like I said, I was already pissed off, so I wasn't thinking right. Connected that one last and ended up getting a pop and a spark. So that's enough about that. So let's also jump into what I did. So let's move that out of the way. Let's get this receiver. So I'm running a Spectrum DX 4X, as you guys could see. It's not the fanciest radio in the world, but to me, I love this radio. It has a lot of features. It has telemetry. They unfortunately do not manufacture this radio any longer. So really, with my whole little crash of losing signal, my battery's running a little bit low. Again, my batteries weren't dead. They were just not fresh, and basically, I think when you have a new set of batteries fresh in here, if you're using just regular AA's, you're probably running at I think 6.5 volts or 6.6, whatever the math is on that. Now, I had the batteries for a while, so I was probably running at 5.5 volts when I lost signal, and sure enough, hit the curb. So after that, I basically said, you know what, I'm fed up with AA's. You lose performance every time, the more you use them, obviously. And then you're replacing batteries all the time, which is a real pain in the ass, and it ends up adding up over time. So what I did is I went to the Spectrum website to see if they made a LiPo battery for this, because I know it does have a LiPo battery feature. And sure enough, they do not make this transmitter anymore. So even the LiPo batteries that they used to make for this, they don't make anymore, and I couldn't find anything anywhere. So what I did was think, well, how can I make kind of my own shit, use a LiPo setup. So this came with this battery tray with 4 AA batteries. And I know it's lipo capable, so basically I did a little bit of digging and a little bit of research, and this is what I was able to do. So just to kind of give you guys a little, if you guys see that there, this basically came soldered onto here for the negative and the positive. Now again, this mod may or may not work for you depending on your transmitter that you have. So this is, again, this is not, you know, for everybody, but if you have a similar transmitter or something, transmitter that runs on LiPo, and you can't happen to find a LiPo battery and you're tired of running double A's, you may be able to do this. So I basically just used the connector, I cut it out or unsoldered it, and then I basically soldered it onto a JST connector, which then I connected to the JST on my 2S LiPo battery that I found that would fit these specific dimensions. So again, if you're going to do something like this, or you even have the option of being able to do something like this, you know, get the measurements, obviously, the millimeter or the diameter of this this opening, so that you know what you could fit in here. So with that being said, so now I don't use double A's anymore. You guys can see I just plug that in. All right. Move these wires out of the way. All right. That sits in there like so. Tuck those out of the way. All right. So that sits in there perfectly. And then when I turn on my transmitter, you guys see now I'm running 7.6 volts. So this is even higher powered than running 4 AA's, which is going to help you with your range. Pretty much, you know, all the benefits of having, you know, more power. So now you got a 2S LiPo running 7.6 volts. You come home, you get done with running, you know, whatever the case may be. You know, store the battery. When you go running next time, charge it up, and you got yourself a 2S LiPo, and you're running a higher voltage, which is going to help increase your range also at the end of the day, and hopefully alleviate the stupid bonehead mistake that I made by crashing my car into the curb. So that's that. Hopefully you guys saw that. Now that brings me to my next thing here, which I'm pretty excited about. I got some goodies today. So look what came in. My new body. Don't get me wrong, the blue is nice, but everybody's got blue. I want to kind of do my own thing. So a couple of options I'm throwing around right now is I'm pretty basic. You know, I don't put like flames or fireballs or skulls or anything like that. Although if you know what you're doing and you set it up, I've seen some pretty nice bodies. But I'm a simpleton, so I like my cars being clean, simple, easy to paint. They'll still look good. Sometimes, as they say, less is more. So I ordered this body from Horizon Hobby probably about like a month ago, and then it said my delivery date was going to be mid-September, so I was expecting it's September 16th or something like that. And sure enough, I went on to check the status a week or two ago, and it said to be determined, and I guess that meant it was back ordered, or you know, whatever may have happened. So I went on eBay, and I happened to see a body listed for sale. And obviously me not being very patient, I was like, I need to have another body. So I ordered it, and I figured, well, when the other one comes from Horizon Hobby, I'll have 2 bodies, and that'll be sweet. So today I get a package, I get a body. I was great, ecstatic. A little while later, another body shows up from Horizon Hobby. So now, guys, I got 2 bodies. So sorry if I ended up taking a body from somebody, or now they're back ordered again. I don't know what the status is, but I got 2, and you can never have enough bodies. So I think I'm going to go with red. I think it's going to match the aluminum and everything inside the car. I think it's going to set it off nice, especially with the stickers, carbon fiber and the vents and all that. I think red, I'm sorry, is going to look sick with the black accents, and then, you know, the red lug nuts on the wheels and stuff like that. So let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I'm a simpleton, so it's either going to be white or red. So let me know what you guys want to see. I think I'm going to probably go red first, but I got another body, so I think I'm going to do red. And then I'm also going to have a backup body that's probably going to be white, which you can't go wrong with, because I think white looks clean and sick too. So other than that, that's it, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think once I get this this body prepped and done and painted. We're going to go ahead and I'll show you guys when it's done, see what you guys think, and then we'll go from there. All right, man. I'll check you guys on the next video. Thanks.